Berengaria is a pretty insane unit. She has pretty good growth in initiative. She has like decent initiative stat. Her evasion is actually surprisingly high for a unit with a shield. Her accuracy is quite high. Her health is decent as well. Her damage is also quite good. She has a little bit of everything. Now, if you look at her growth types on default, she is defensive precise, but if you want to get her more damage, you could do something like offensive or offensive all-rounder, or offensive go-getter, something like that, so that you can get more damage and more initiative. If we go to the details, she has an axe, great shield, infantry. So she is a tanky class that is not an armor. I feel bad for these armor classes because they just have all these weaknesses, and these classes, like these lords and these uniques that do not, can just do their job typically, or do something similar, like tank at least, and they just don't get hard countered by things. So she has 6 stamina, 100 mobility as party leader, recovers stamina and HP faster when garrisoned, and the skills, let's go over the skills really quick. I'll show a demo, I'll show like, a few combats and how she's being used in this team. Alright, so her first skill, Carnage. Attacks a single enemy, inflicts AP -1 for 100 potency, 100 hit rate. This attack is okay. You really should never be using this unless you really desperately need to reduce the action point of a single enemy, but you're probably better off just stunning it with a row attack. So let's go into Death Spin. So Death Spin, or Spin to Win, has 75 potency, physical potency, 100 hit rates, and it inflicts stun, and it's a row attack. Just the base stats of stun, 75 potency row attack is already really strong. For one action point, that's incredibly strong. However, you also deal 75% or 75 more potency versus Afflicted. So Afflicted is it all afflictions are debuffs, but not all debuffs are afflictions. So for example, Eye of the Warrior Princess is a debuff, but not an affliction. Afflictions are like burn, frost, stun, poison, things like this. I think Guard Seal is also considered an affliction. We'll go over the afflictions in a second, and also how it combos into this team comp. But just know that you're 150 potency versus afflicted, so if you can apply an affliction to either a row that she's attacking or the entire enemy team, she's going to be hitting really hard while stunning, and she can do this several times. Like in this particular build, she can use this 3 times. She also has Vicious Torment, so this attack is interesting for nuking down like a boss or some key threat. It has 75 potency and it hits twice, but it also gets 75 more potency versus afflicted. So you're looking at 150 potency times 2, also known as 300% potency. So that's a 3 times damage multiplier on her attack. And it grants the user +1 passive point if the target is afflicted. So she kind of combos off of afflictions very well. Now, this attack I would say is only really good in certain boss fights, or if the row that she would want to kill or attack is like mostly killed anyways, and there's like some squishy or some tanky target that needs to be nuked down. I think Death Spin is overall just largely much better than this, but it does have its use cases. Sanguine Pursuit, 100 potency, 100 hit rate, activates after an ally attacks. Follow up a single enemy. User recovers HP equal to 50% of damage dealt. Grants the user +1 passive point versus afflicted targets. So she can do this as long as anything attacks on your team if the enemies are afflicted, and she can just keep healing herself, keep dealing huge damage. Very often this hits through like evade on enemy thieves. So like if an enemy thief evades an attack with its passive, this can hit through it because they can't evade twice in a row. Or maybe they can and it's just bugged and it hits through it anyways. But it seems to be able to hit through things like that for whatever reason. We also have Eye of the Warrior Princess. Activates at the start of battle. Inflicts attack -20%, initiative -10 on all enemies. So this is quite nice for a cheap debuff. And her passive point consumption is just a non-issue. She can spam Sanguine Pursuit, and she can use this, and it's just fine. Like, she doesn't really need that many passive points. As long as things are afflicted, she really only realistically needs like 2 passive points, maybe 3. If she's going to be Warrior Princess, Eye, in the start of battle, and then she just needs 1 passive point if things are afflicted to use this several times until the enemies are dead, typically. Then we have Painbringer. Activates before being attacked. Grants the user +1 AP, plus 20% attack, and plus 10 initiative, and it stacks. Now this, I find, it's really good actually, because she can basically have infinite passive points, and not necessarily infinite active points, but she can recharge her active points and give damage stacking on herself. Now I think the game plan really is to stun and kill things and just not let them attack you, but you could leverage this, especially in PvP. So it's definitely not bad. It's pretty good, especially if she's on the front line getting attacked. Vital Absorb. This is also crazy. Attack an enemy unit and absorb 2 of their stamina. Physical potency 100. So the damage is not why you do this. The stealing stamina is why you do this. Whatever group she's in, as long as you have valor points, can just keep resetting their stamina without waiting or using a camp. So this is very massive. Very good for pushing, very good on long maps, especially like the final map, which is quite large. And then we have Provoke 2, draw all enemy units within range toward the user. Ineffective versus garrison, duration 10 seconds. This is also quite good because this group can sit on 0 stamina, kill a bunch of things off of Provoke, and then Vital Absorb whoever is still like trying to attack her, and then just keep doing this. So there's some pretty stupid combos you can do with this if you really want to. You don't even have to though, like just the kit is so good on its own, you don't really have to do much to make her good. Like just by virtue of running her and just spamming Death Spin, you're probably gonna have insane results. Alright, so let's show the build that I'm actually running on her. It's actually very simple. We have the King's Axe, Drake and Ash, Forge, so it is 25 base attack, and then all stats plus 5. This gives you crit rates, this gives you guard rate, this gives you evasion, accuracy, initiative. So the stats plus 5 is very useful because it initiative fixes, accuracy fixes, gives evasion, gives guard, gives crit, gives damage. It gives you everything. And you typically want everything. Like most units want extra initiative, most units want extra accuracy. Having high evasion is nice. She's kind of a weird unit because she has reasonably good evasion and high guard rate. And you can get both up to really high levels so that she takes minimal damage. I have her on Azure Crest Shield, but really she could be on anything. She doesn't even need this. She could be on like freeze immunity, stun immunity for higher guard rate. That's probably better, honestly. She could be on any utility shield. If you want her to tank magic better, she could be on like Phantom Knight Shield. But it's pretty much anything. Any shield. Most shields will be fine for her. She doesn't even need the passive points. Let's actually move her over to this. So this gives you higher guard rate, so she can tank a little bit better. Freeze and stun immunity, which is nice. I have her on Blood Moon Earrings. It gives Sanguine Pursuit 80% lifesteal instead of 50. So she just steals a ton of health and basically never dies unless she gets one shot, which is uncommon because she has such high dodge and guard rate. So basically, as long as she doesn't get crit with some huge attack, she can sit on the front lines, stun things, and just heal off of pursuit attacks. And if she is going to get killed, it's nice to have a team that can tank for her, and then you can just put her on the back line. She can work in either position. And then we have Hero's Medallion. Honestly, this is completely overkill. Like, this could be on someone else, but the nice thing about this is you get an action point, and you get 20% attack. The extra passive point almost doesn't even matter on her. Like, you're probably better running this on someone else, like better off running it on someone else. The things that you could change, I would say, you can swap out to whatever axe you want, you can swap out to whatever shield you want. Blood Moon Earrings are completely optional. You get these from, I think, the Elven Land secret store. You could, for example, run this. This would probably be better. Dream Crown is from Ancient Crown. I'll tell you where both these are. People always ask about these. Do the mines, get all the treasure maps. In the Frozen Lands, there's a treasure map that gives this. In the Elven Lands, or not the Elven, the Angel Lands, there's a treasure map that gives this. So passive point +1, all stats +5, active point +1, all stats +5. Fantastic items. Now she has really good damage right now, so I don't need to boost her damage any further. She typically kills or crits. She has 30% crit rate, but you could optimize for damage more. I've optimized more for like kind of survivability with the self-heal. We do have a row healer, so it's not really necessary to run the self-heal. So if you wanted to optimize her damage, you could give her crits. So let's say, let's find it. So if you want to give her slight crit but damage increase, you could give her Warrior's Medallion for more damage. You could also give her Veteran's Eye Patch for crit plus 30, so that when she does her row attack, she has higher crit rate. Now, if you really wanted to boost her damage, like seriously, to just like unload passive points into an enemy, you could give her Sniper Amber Lens, which is acquired in Angel Lands, and I think the Furry Lands, we'll call it. Where is it? A lot of items this game, dude. So many items. Let's see. I know I have them because they're on other characters. Alright. There we are. Alright. So this gives her more accuracy, which is not really needed, but the key thing here is you get true strike and critical. So she could Hawkeye herself. So you could replace Blood Moon Earrings with this, and then if you wanted a different start of battle effect, you could get rid of Eye of the Warrior Princess, and then run the passive point shield. So if you wanted to be something like this, then near the top, it's good to remember. Alright, so if you wanted to run something like this, I can't change equipment during battle. You could. Now I can unequip this from a unit that's deployed and then re-equip it if that's the case. But the guaranteed crit on her row attack is quite good. Alright, now let's look at the combat. Show a few battles with her. So I can furl a board nuke that applies afflictions. The Boon of the Fairies. So she doesn't even get her thing up because we Boon of the Fairies boost. Debuff immunity. That's also nice. Yeah, so Ice can furl. Now you can Fire can furl so the affliction lasts. Looks like she missed. She needs to be on the Sniper Eye. Sanguine Pursuit. Look at the damage, and she hit an avoid tank too. The damage is quite good. Death Spin. So it can be nice to hit fix that, obviously, with a true attack. These enemies are all avoid tanks, though, so the Amber Lens would have just hit right through that, killed all those. We wouldn't be dealing with the... Yeah, Maiden's Hammer is pretty good. Ice Coffin. Kills their witch. Just stabs. Alright, so can't evade. Yeah, the Death Spin is just really good. You can literally miss attacks and it can still beat bad matchups. Like right now we have Vertical Edge and things like this. But I could have used Hit Fix like True Strike on Berengaria or the Elf. Actually, one thing I can do. I can drop this for a Lapis. Improve this a little bit. Yeah, we can Focus Sight the front row. And what else? Alright, so she should get Focus Sighted now. Yeah. Alright, so let's check that out. Just to give her True Strike. And then for fun, let's change Frostbrand Tome into Stun. Stun also ends, Burn does not, so like Burn can be quite good with her. So we Flame can furl. Actually, we shouldn't even need to set it because the highest initiative is this, so she'll just use her ability right away. So we'll show the Burn. Now, if they don't cleanse it, she just has a huge damage boost against all burning targets. So even like a weak attack, even though this wasn't really weak, it almost kills them all. And she sanguines off of that. Just quite nice. She sanguines off of any attack, so... And everything is afflicted, so it's always free. Oh, she's gonna Flame Confurl her. And she has the extra passive point. That's fine too. We'll just dominate this team. This is the final map on True Zenoiran, so... I'll show the matchups this team has. Now, she's a good unit on any team. She has Row Stun for 1 AP. Just that is enough to justify running her. But let's show the matchups. So, kills that group. Does not kill that group, interestingly. Maybe they're missing or something's going on. I'm sure I can adjust. Oh wait, the 50% defense increase is why we're not killing. We could probably squeeze out more damage through changing tactics, but kills that group, kills this, kills the boss, kills one of the bosses. Let's see if she kills all the bosses. Probably adjust this. The feather bow, blind, so we could just equip anti-blind, and also stun instead of burn. Kills that. So it's a pretty strong units, arguably one of the best units in the game right now. And she has like no weaknesses. She's just good at everything. And she also has various builds she can run. Like she can do a bunch of different things. Now for other axes, let's look at some of these axes. So some of these axes give action point, which is nice. Some also give passive point, so you can kind of dip into either. You can get initiative, of course, some accuracy. Execution is interesting. Attack a single enemy. Death blow, 25%. This could be maybe useful in a boss. I don't think for general combat it's that good. Heavy smash. Attack a row of enemies, inflict stun. But look at the damage. This is, so like other units, if they want to inflict stun, they have to lose 10 initiative and deal way less damage. She has 150 potency against afflicted, which is very easy to meet, especially if you stun them and then she stuns them afterwards. This, like, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You just keep stunning them. So like Thunderous Conferral is very good for that. But some of these are decent. You can run whichever ones you have access to. But any axe should do until you get, you know, the crazier axes. Like this is quite nice. So I highly recommend throwing this on her and forging it. And then for the shield, it's really optional. It's whatever you think you need, whatever the situation calls for. So if you need, you know, anti-stun, anti-freeze, anti-blind, something like that, throw that on her. Blood Moon Earring's optional. Like, the nice thing about this character is she's pretty much good no matter what you do, and everything is optional. But that's it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, find this useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.